Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to discuss the 5 habits that have been absolutely fundamentally changing my life. I think the number one reason why habits don't stick is because we don't talk enough about the shadow work that needs to be done to properly implement or start on the right foot a habit that you want to keep. So in today's video, I will be discussing the 5 habits that I have for you guys and how I properly implemented them so I can stay lovingly detached and not identify these things to my ego. Habit number 1 that I have for you guys is tracking your data. And I don't mean tracking it loosely, I don't mean tracking it on your laptop, on your phone. Actually having a physical copy of a tracker that you can add to every single day and taking a 5-minute time span, 5-minute period out of your day to sit down and track the things that are important to you. We've set the big goal, but we don't really have the day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month view. And the best way to do that is with a physical tracker. I found this system through a TikTok that I will show on the screen and that I will link down below that a very dear friend of mine showed me, and it deeply transformed my life. To build a sustainable, even just a 5-minute practice, I find that the novelty of something can make you have hope and look forward to doing that thing. So finding a system that works for you, finding a novelty system that works for you is very important. This is the number one thing that keeps me very visually accountable for myself. Now, the shadow element to properly implement this habit of daily tracking is it has to come from a place of intrinsic motivation. It can't come from a place of needing external validation, needing to post your stats online. And there is a time and place where you definitely can use that as a motivator, but the intrinsic motivation needs to be there. You need to first want to track your metrics. You need to first want to get really, really truthful with yourself on what you're actually doing. And very important to also track the days where you did not accomplish the goals or the promises that you set out for yourself. It's very, very important because it's ironically rewiring the part of your brain that already let yourself down, but at least you stay true to the promise that you made of tracking what actually happened that day. Another shadow element before you begin tracking is the detachment of your sense of self that you get from this. Intrinsic motivation means that you are self-motivated to do a task. Attaching a sense of ego or a sense of self through the amount that you achieve is gonna get you nowhere. It's gonna actually get you to burnout. You have to find a way to become lovingly detached with the metrics. Become very proud of the fact that you kept a promise to yourself and have that be the number one reason why you track your metrics is I want to become reliable for myself and my inner child, but do not attach a sense of self from the metrics that you get. So habit number 2 is boundaries. Prioritizing time alone, your time. Making sacrifices to be selfish, to fill your cup, to then show up and be selfless is very important. Time for self-love and doing the things that you want to get done, the things that you love, and just spending time with yourself to be on top of the things that you want to be on top of, to feel good in your energy. You need to set proper boundaries. And for some people, this may be a given. As we grow older, we need to respect other people's boundaries and create healthy boundaries within ourselves. And the only way to respect someone else's boundary is when we have ourselves good boundaries, because then we become conscious of what it actually takes for that person to set that boundary and what a boundary properly looks like on all levels. As an example, one of my healthy boundaries is I always schedule in the things that I want to get done in the week before I make plans with anyone at all. Now, the shadow element of this can be a lot more intense than the other ones because you have to sit with yourself and ask yourself, why are you denying yourself the things that you want to do or the time to do the things that you want to do? Is it an underlying fear of not being good enough? Is it an underlying fear of not being worthy enough of doing the things that you want to do? Or is it a fear of not being able to achieve the things that you want to achieve because you set such high expectations on yourself so you don't even try? This might be a subconscious way you're sabotaging yourself before even trying. Setting high expectations as a perfectionist could be a way to stop you and to keep validating that fear. So you really have to take the time to do the shadow work to release any fear. And my tip for you is anytime that you sit with yourself and realize, all right, I'm avoiding this task by creating plans with other people because I don't believe that I can achieve these things, sit with yourself and do the thing that scares you anyway. It's very important because any good habit is never fun in the moment. I can tell you this from experience. I just did a 30-day running challenge where I ran every single day for a month, for actually 31 days. And I can tell you that although I love running, every time I got on the treadmill, I did not want to run. But that is important because you have to dissociate from the mind that is trying to sabotage you and the mind that is trying to love you. The mind that is trying to sabotage you is your subconscious fears trying to put a brake in your wheels. And that one you can override, mind over matter. If you made a promise to yourself that is actually rooted in love and that is forwarding your progress in life, the minute that you have a doubt against doing that thing, that is a pretty good indicator that it is your subconscious mind. The easiest way to get over this block would be doing the thing that scares you anyway and continuously working on the fears every time that they come up. For example, before I started painting, I always have this fear of, what if it doesn't work out? What if it looks ugly? What if I can't even paint anymore? What if I completely forgot how to paint overnight? And these are completely irrational fears. They stem from a part of me that doesn't believe that I can properly achieve the things that I already have achieved. The one way to prove that voice wrong time and time again is to never listen to it and to do the thing anyways. We'll try to mask itself in a validation form, meaning if you have a fear of not being able to get something done, or you have a fear that you won't have enough time to get something done, you will subconsciously make sure that that is the reality. You will overbook yourself. You will make sure that you never have enough time. You will put it off in the time that you do have time until you sit with yourself and realize, where is this coming from? Why am I robbing myself of my dreams? Continuously do that for a long time. It could turn into jealousy and envy projected outwardly onto other people. And then the more that that goes on, the messier it gets to untangle. But the tip I have for you is it's never fun, ever, if you're building a habit, but you still have to do it because it's a promise to yourself, and that will change everything. So tip number 3 is do something that you love every day. And this is something that really ties into the shadow work of point number 2. Habit number 2 is find the one thing that you like doing for you. For example, I love painting. Painting is also part of my career, but that's a whole separate thing. I started out painting because I just loved painting, and that was when I was the most creatively flowing. It was when I did it just because I loved it for an intrinsic value. Your thing that you love doing might be writing, journaling, walking, listening to podcasts, doing little sketches. It could be pretty much playing a sport. It could be anything, but the thing that you love doing for an intrinsic value, do it for at least 10 minutes every single day. Make a promise to yourself that you have the whole month of April or the whole month of May or the whole month of whatever month that we're going to be in or the month that we're currently in, and say every single day I'm going to take 10 minutes to do something that makes my inner child happy. And dabbing into the shadow work from tip number 2, you will have resistance for this sometimes more than a normal habit, which is crazy to me and hilarious at the same time. For example, I have so much resistance for doing the things that I love because I have the subconscious belief maybe it is not as productive as the other things. The only way to let go of those fears is to feel them, validate their existence inside of you. So feel them inside of your body and say, I understand you are there. This resistance that I feel is actually a fear of my own self. A big tip for doing something that you love every day is, for me, something that can completely quiet your mind. And painting for me is that. And trust me, that will really deeply affect your self-love and your self-trust as well. And you won't latch on to other people to find that inner sense of fulfillment. And the shadow element to number 3 is it'll also heal your inner child. It'll tell your inner child that it is safe to live inside of my adult body, and that is very important. Number 4 is run every day. I'm joking. My thing is running every single day. So tip number 4 is really finding a physical activity that you can do every single day. And it could be as simple as just a 10-minute walk every single day without fail. So regardless of the weather, the time, how you feel, how healthy you are, make it a goal to promise yourself this and do it for a minimum of 30 days. The self-reliance you will feel after accomplishing a physical activity goal that you set for 30 days is enormous. But the one thing I say is do not do it to your detriment. Don't set, I'm gonna run 50 minutes every single day, unless you're a pro athlete that's been doing this for their whole life. Make it realistic, but something that you do every single day. You could say, I'm gonna go to the gym every day for a minimum and sometimes a maximum of 10 minutes, so long as I'm there every single day and at least have a little bit of sweat on my face, that I didn't just put water on my face. Physical activity is one of the best things for your endorphin release throughout the day. There is so much science to back up why you should be doing at least one of your favorite physical activity things every single day, but it also really ties into how trustworthy you can be with yourself. For me, as a hot-headed, very intense, energetic Aries, I need a physical activity that's going to match that. The shadow element to this is your mind. Mind over matter. Just like I was explaining in tip number 2 or 3, sometimes it is very hard to distinguish between your loving mind and your self-sabotaging fear mind. And I can tell you that 99% of the times that I got on the treadmill, with that 1% exception of, oh, I'm really tired, I would like to take care of myself, I would tell myself, I'm going to take care of myself and really cuddle myself, have a nice warm cardigan on with a cup of tea after this run. I will fulfill that need, that loving need inside of myself after this run. So that is that 1% that is actually a loving voice inside of my head. But the other 99% of the time is a fear that's trying to be validated, a fear that I will fail in this challenge, trying to be validated, telling me, is it really important? Do you really want to go right now? It's kind of cold outside. Oh, I have to walk the 5 minutes to go to the treadmill. Oh, and then I have to run, and then I have to eat after. There's so many reasons that your brain is going to use against you, but you just have to view it from a detached space of, wow, this is so silly. Like, witness your mind have all of these reasonings as if it was a 2-year-old child sitting in a timeout. And again, the secret tip that I can give you guys is that you're never going to want to do it in the moment, and that I can promise you. And maybe that's just an underlying negative mindset that I have, but I like to think that I have a pretty positive mindset for everything. For some reason, I'm pretty inherently negative when it comes to right about the minute that I'm going to do something that I promised myself to do. But you do it anyway. That's the beautiful thing. And the peace and the endorphins you feel after this for the rest of the day is beautiful. It like that I would not trade for the world. And for tip number 4, I want you to pick something that you can challenge yourself on later on. That is a huge way that this habit will stick. First, implement the bare minimum, but then every single day, try to challenge yourself just 1% more, or maybe 2% more. When you're feeling near failure, challenge yourself more. That is the number 1 tip that I have for a consistent habit, is feeling accomplished that you did more every day. And that is a really important element of this habit. For me, running every single day, the minute that I hit my 10-minute requirement, that dread of having to do it was gone, and I really wanted to push myself. It happened every single time I was on the treadmill. And this excitement to push more than what I did the day before was always there. And play with it, use it, go for it. Wow, I'm really proud of what I did yesterday. Can I beat that today? Or can I just go with the minimum? So long as I did the minimum, I'm okay with that. But can I do more? I love doing more. Let's do more. And number 5 is my favorite tip. Get clear on your daily vague goal. If you're planning on reading 10 pages a day, if you're planning on running for 20 minutes a day, if you're planning on painting for 4 hours today, or editing a video, all of my primary examples. The daily vague goal could be to have moments and pockets of peace. And if that is the underlying goal, everything will flow. But your underlying vague goal could be something like happiness, fulfillment, achievement, any of these things that your heart really desires. And I'll get into the shadow element in a minute. The number 1 thing that your soul needs. And that can be really hard to take apart. So the tip that I have for you in the shadow element, which is mind-blowing me because since I started applying this, my life has changed catastrophically for the better. Your daily vague goal, e.g. peace, love, happiness, fulfillment, whatever it may be, have it be the thing that you look for in a romantic partner. The way to find that daily vague goal that you need the most in your heart is look at what you're attracted in other people and give that to yourself every single day. I know, that's a lot. For example, I value, when I look at someone that I'm attracted to, their wisdom, their peace, their grace, and their complete acceptance of self is to me the most attractive quality I could ever see. So, because I am attracted to that, that means that that is an aspect of myself that is being mirrored back to me. And for some reason or another, it's attractive because either one, I'm not giving it to myself in its entirety, or two, I just really deeply admire that. And how can I have more of that? The number one way to find your daily vague goal is look at what you're attracted to the most in other people. And if it's not a romantic partner, it could be your best friend or people that you look up to. So for mine, it is peace and wisdom. So the two things that I value the most is having pockets of time with no cellular devices, no noise other than maybe a peaceful piano playing in the other room. Intentionality, grace. I practice graceful movements. I really attune myself to my chakras. Those are the things that I want to practice and let flow out of me every single day, because another shadow element from this number 5, have a daily vague goal. These are not things that you should be looking for externally. The lie and the illusion, the Maya in this, is that they are already within you and you just need time and space to let them come out. Thank you so much for watching this video, and the last tips I have for you guys: eat a diet that makes you feel the best version of you. This might be very self-explanatory but very difficult to do, and I will get into that in a whole separate video in the future, which I'm very excited to talk about. Once again, nutrition and shadow work, my two favorite topics to talk about. Better consistent sleep schedule, which in itself could be a whole video, but there is a plethora of science and podcasts out there for you to listen to. I recommend Dr. Huberman. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you guys so very much, and I hope that you implement some of these tips in your life. Have a beautiful rest of the day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.